Hi everyone, it is Adrian from Woman and Beyond, and I'm here with Olivia Raffaele. Olivia, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. It's so nice to be here.
Now, Olivia, you are going into, so you're national finalist, I'm just looking at it now, for both Miss Global and Miss Intercontinental Australia
Yes.
2017. So I have heard of those pageants before, but I'm not too up to date with them. So can you tell us what the difference is between, or what's a particular platform for both of those pageants versus some of the other pageants that I can see that you've competed in, such as Miss Galaxy. So what sets those two pageants apart?
So these two pageants are based a lot on diversity and community involvement. The reason why it's been put together as an Aussie Power pageant is because Miss Global, Miss Intercontinental do have the similar ideals and values. And I think for me, coming from a family that immigrated from overseas, focusing on that diverse aspect really resonated with me because I really feel like it will be beneficial to represent a side of Australia that isn't necessarily the stereotype of Australians, like the really fair hair and the really blue eyes. And I think that compared to Galaxy, because it's run by the same director, it does have a lot of the same criteria, but
Okay.
once you go to the international competition, you really bring out your nation's culture, which I really love.
Right, well, that would be interesting. So let's say you did go on to represent Australia internationally,
Mhm.
and you yourself are from, or your background is Italian.
Yes.
So how would you do it? I mean, I know some competitors in the past have, dressed up in an Australian flag or taken a koala, things like that. Like, how would you go about representing Australia? Because as you pointed out, Australia is very multicultural.
It
So
is.
I think it's difficult to actually represent Australia. So how would you represent Australia?
Well, the way that I would represent Australia, I feel like I wouldn't be able to do anything sort of that culturally reminds people of Australia because I feel like, in a way, I'd be appropriating that whole, background of Australia. But I would love to go as something relating to our flora and fauna, something quite objective
Hmm.
to represent the country. But I do really want to represent the multicultural aspect.
Yeah.
I think that Australia is one of the most multicultural countries on the earth.
Mm.
And to say, oh, my parents were immigrants, I represent a large population of Australia. That's what I want to bring forward. So I would love to represent the natural beauties of Australia, whereas the background I'd like to say, hey, we're incredibly diverse and
Yeah.
it's not, there's no limitation to the culture that's here.
You said your family emigrated from, was it from Italy?
Sicily, yes.
From Sicily. How long ago was that?
It was years ago. So my grandparents immigrated here in I think it was 60s. In the 60s, they
Right.
literally came here on a boat, and I did not think that because
Wow.
how grandparents, oh, I walked 10 miles to school every day and I came on a boat. I didn't think that that was true, but when I did ask, they said, yeah, no, we came here on a boat. It took a very long time, to try and conform into the Australian culture was really difficult.
Mm.
And knowing all that background information, it was really insightful to me. But yeah, it was ages ago, and they came on a boat, which I found was really really interesting.
Wow. So how invested are you in your Italian culture still? Do you still, I don't know exactly how to ask, if you still eat the pasta a lot? I mean, do you still do the Italian food? Because Italians, I haven't been there, but what I've seen, they're big on food, they're big on family. So is that still part of your day-to-day life now?
If I ever eat pasta, it's pasta that I've made.
Oh, okay.
Cannot stand the plastic. I'm sorry. I know pretty much everyone eats it, but I can't stand the dried out plastic pasta.
Yeah.
And pizza, love pizza. The culture is very much still in me, even though I have assimilated to everything,
Sure.
my surroundings.
Now, leading up to the pageant, I often ask this: do you have any particular goals in terms of how well you want to do? Because I've sort of talked to two schools of pageant competitors. One have a very specific, I want this, and I won't be happy with anything less. And then there's the other school that goes, I'm just going in it to have fun, and whatever happens, happens. So which school do you belong to?
I go to both schools.
Okay, you're in the middle.
I'm in the middle. I have grown up with brothers in a lot of sports. I am naturally quite competitive. And I also am going into it for a fun experience. The last pageant I went to, I had so much fun, and that's why I wanted to do it again. But then it's also because I came second runner-up and got really close. So, so look, I enjoy and find the competitive side fun because I do like pushing myself. So I did have a goal in my last pageant to be in the top 5.
Okay.
Because the year before I made top 15 and top 5 is that next step. You know, you do have that goal in the back of your head, you know, I want to win, I hope I do, but my realistic goal was I want to make top 5, it'll be a massive improvement, and I was lucky enough to have achieved that. In the pageant coming up, there are quite a few different girls, a lot of new girls coming into the global system, so I can't quite gauge how it's going to go, but I will say that I do have that same goal.
Right, okay. And I know that, I mean, you've written it here, you competed, was it Miss Galaxy Australia 2016, the national finals, and you had Bell's palsy, which you've written a form of temporary facial paralysis. I mean, what was going through your head at the time? Because if I read correctly, it was in the lead up, I'm not quite sure how long, but it was in the lead up to the finals, and then you suddenly realised that you basically couldn't move half your face. So what happened there?
So 2 weeks before Galaxy Finals, I got this weird tingling sensation on one side of my face, and it wasn't going away, and I thought, this is really strange. So I went to the doctor, and I was sitting there, and I was listening, and I was telling him my symptoms, and then all of a sudden I was blinking, and I thought, this feels really funny, like I think I'm blinking slower with one of my eyes. And he did point it out, and I said, I don't know what's going on. And he said, it sounds like you're getting Bell's palsy. So it is temporary facial paralysis. And it got to the point where the whole side of my face was drooped downwards. I couldn't talk properly. I could only eat a lot of things through a straw, or if I sort of tilted my head to one side and let it fall on the other side. Vision in one eye became blurred, so I wasn't allowed to exercise due to lack of coordination. And yeah, that's what happened 2 weeks before. I did see the doctor a week before national finals and said, you know, this is where it's at the moment. And he said, it's most likely not going to get worse. But it did. It did get a lot worse.
Right.
And yeah, it was terrifying, because it's not necessarily a condition that does go away. So I thought, am I stuck like this? But the immediate thought was, you know, I didn't want to compete in the pageant at all, because I didn't have that in-depth knowledge of myself yet. So I thought, my face is gone, I'm horrible, I'm ugly, no one's going to like me, everyone's going to think I'm weird. But I did end up going, which was the main thing.
Why did you decide to continue? Because, I mean, as you said, pageants are based a lot on how you appear, not just outside, inside, obviously, but when you have something like that happening to you, I think most people would pull out. So what made you make that decision that, no, I'm going to continue even though?
Okay, so it's not going to sound as dramatic, but I'd already paid to accommodation to go. So I was like, why not? So right at the beginning, yeah, it was that sort of
Sure.
But when I got there and I saw everybody, I thought, whoa, I probably shouldn't have come. At orientation, where everyone gets dressed up and meets everybody, I had looks of, I don't know if Olivia normally is like this, or
And they can't really ask you because it's kind of an awkward question, isn't it?
yeah, because they've only seen photos with me, and it's with photos with makeup and everything. It's the easy thing to hide. So I was sort of thinking, is this how she normally is? Has she acquired something? I had someone ask me if I'd had a stroke, which was very upfront. But I did sort of address it to everybody and say, look, this is why I'm here. And after that, everyone was really, really supportive, and I was so thankful for that. There were times where I had to be excluded from exercise on the beach because I couldn't shut one of my eyes, that sort of thing. So there were times where I felt a bit lonely by myself, but all in all, it was an incredible experience. And I think after being there and after getting the support from all those girls, it made it so much better.
Wow, that's an amazing story. So, I mean, after that, I would assume that entering any pageant without Bell's palsy is going to be a walk in the park for you, isn't it?
Yeah, the nerves of any sort of pageant after that have not been as great. And it's not because, I made top 15 when I was sick, so I must do well when I'm feeling healthy.
Yeah.
It's more so I got over that sort of massive hurdle with self-confidence and walking in front of all these people like this, that, it sort of resonated. Looks aren't everything, and if I don't look 100%, it's going to be okay. That sort of mentality is what I go with from now on. I still try really hard, but I know it's not the be-all and end-all.
Talk us through what made you enter pageants in the first place.
The first pageant I entered was Miss Universe, and starting from the bottom
pageant.
Doesn't apply. I started right at the top, which was quite silly in perspective, in hindsight. I watched the Miss Universe International competition and saw Amy Willerton, Miss Great Britain, and I loved her. And not just because of her looks, I sort of did a lot of background research and saw the amazing stuff that she'd done, and I thought, I want to be that influence on somebody else like she was for me. And I, on a whim, entered, and it was terrifying. There were a lot of high standards in terms of physical appearance back then, and I did make it to state finals, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But I didn't progress from there. And being the first pageant and not having experienced all the psychological stuff behind it, even though I did progress that next step, I thought, I mustn't be pretty, and that's why they didn't want me. So then I did look up a few other pageants that had a much different message. I thought, this sounds more like something that I could enjoy and something I could do for a very long time.
What drives you to keep competing in pageants now? Are you looking to win one? Do you just love competing in them? Do you love the giving back component of it? Because you're quite experienced now, so what keeps driving you?
I think it is a little bit of all of those things. I really want to represent a different type of girl in pageantry, and I know some people might think, she is the typical type of pageant girl. I don't understand. But, I have a lot of life experience that may be quite a little bit different to a lot of girls that do compete. I am a regular person. I hold a regular full-time job as a special ed teacher. I do fundraise for charity. I do volunteer. And I feel as though if girls see someone that they can relate to up on that stage, then you're going to have a lot more girls wanting to compete and in turn wanting to make a difference in their community, which I can only see as a good thing.
Absolutely. I mean, you did mention, and I was going to go on to this, so your regular full-time job. So can you tell us what your regular full-time job is?
So I am a special needs educator, so I teach blind children with multiple physical impairments.
And can you give people an idea of what that's like?
It was...
Because being a teacher is challenging enough as it is. I know this from experience.
So the school that I teach at has kids of a varying physical ability, but as a criteria, as a special school, they all have to have a very, very high vision impairment.
Right.
So the specific class that I teach has high physical needs. So they're very independent on meals, on hygiene changes, on physical positioning. So a lot of the time it's, teaching, nursing, physiotherapy sort of thing. So it's a mixture of all that together. I don't sit with a child who's a quadriplegic in a wheelchair and go through, Macbeth with them and talk about the literacy construction or anything like that. Yeah. It's more so I'm trying to get them to communicate a definitive yes and no so that I can improve their quality of life.
And what made you decide to take that on as a career path? Because it's obviously not an easy one, but I imagine it's very, very fulfilling.
Well, in grade 11, we were told you have to pick what you want to do for the rest of your life, which is very confronting.
Yes.
And I didn't know, so I said, I'm going to be a teacher, sort of a backup kind of thing.
Okay.
And it was when I was in grade 12 that in the school playground I saw these boys laughing at something. And I came over as, a very respectable house captain to say, what's going on here? And I sort of ran away and I saw this young boy, he was in grade 8, in boxers and his school uniform on the floor. And I said to him, you have to put your clothes back on, what are you doing? And a kid came up to me and said, this is so-and-so, he's autistic. And those boys were telling him that it was okay to start undressing in the playground. And he was a low-functioning autistic boy. So he, with a smile, said, okay, cool, and started undressing. So it was really sad that people would do something like that and manipulate someone like this in that way. But from then on, I inquired at the special ed unit at my school and said, is there any way that I can, help out? So for all of grade 12, my study periods, I committed to tutoring that boy for the year.
I mean, given that, I want to ask you what your thoughts are on the bullying issues that we have, not just in school, but, online and everywhere. What would you say are the steps that we need to take as a society to try and reduce those problems?
I honestly, and this is a pageant answer.
Sure.
We need to educate people, and I think it's easy to say this is autism, this is Down syndrome, and whatever, and just sort of use them as labels to kids. But a real emphasis needs to be put, especially on kids with disabilities. They did not choose to be like this, and they can't help that they're like this. And even though things seem like a behaviour, it is part of their condition.
Yeah.
And it's incredibly sad. I don't understand sometimes how people can make fun of disabilities. I even try to get in their minds and say, what aspect of this would I find funny? And I can't do it. And I just think that it's down to the fact that they haven't been, taught, about these conditions, or even a little bit about respect for other people. Because even with mainstream kids go through a lot these days with, there being such a big online social media presence. It's so easy to access other people when they're at home, because I remember when I was younger, I didn't have, MSN or MySpace back in the day. So if I was being bullied at school, when I got home, I was just away from it all. Whereas now you can go home to it and open your computer up to it.
Yeah.
So I really think that those kids need to be told and taught, it's not something that's okay for anybody.
Absolutely agree. I wanted to also ask you, so your work with UNICEF, Australia's Syria Crisis Appeal, is that something, tell us, I guess, what you're doing for that?
So I'm raising money for UNICEF Australia, more specifically the Syria Crisis Appeal, which is helping those young kids over in Syria with shelter, food, water and other amenities. And I am finding it very difficult to fundraise, not without lack of trying,
Mm-hmm.
but there is a massive sort of political, social issue around Syria and refugees at the moment, which is quite saddening to me as a fundraiser on behalf of them. I've been declined for many fundraising events at venues because of what's happened overseas, say in London, with the terrorist attacks. They somehow link the two together, although I don't know how Syrian children in Aleppo relate to
That's
terrorist
surprising for me to hear. It's saddening. So you've been turned down from fundraising because of something that is, from my perspective, completely unrelated.
Yes, so I think it is very sad, but I've just gotten a lot of responses saying this is a very delicate political issue, and we don't want to take a side. And
I don't think it's about taking sides. I mean, when there are starving children, that's not a political issue.
I know. I tried telling them, it is on behalf of UNICEF, which helps children all over the world. So if some utilities and resources can't get to Aleppo due to the high risk, it does go to children elsewhere in the world that really need help. But it didn't seem to make much of a difference. So I haven't raised as much money as I would have hoped to, but I still have raised a small portion, which is awesome. But I am still going and still trying to push the message out there that these are innocent children that are being killed every single day for something that they want to be no part of.
Absolutely. I mean, on that note, is there, if someone wants to donate to you, is there a link to a page that they can go to donate money to your cause?
There is a link, and I will send it to you. It is through everydayhero.com, which is a website that links directly through the charities that have been nominated for the website.
Right.
So none of it sees my hands, which is something that a lot of people do love. Although I wouldn't go around spending everyone else's money. But yeah,
that's been in the news a little bit lately as well, with charities and some of the money being, not going where it's supposed to. But if you send me that link, I'll put it below, because definitely that crisis is. I have a friend who just got back from volunteering in person over there, so I don't see how it's a political issue at all. So I'd love people to donate to that.
Yeah, of course. I will send you through the link, and I think it is something. The reason I chose it is because it's something that's really relevant, and it's happening right now. Media chooses to cover it when it seems fit, but it is happening constantly. People and children are being killed right at this instant. So I think that if everybody who said something on social media about it being so bad actually took action and did something, then I doubt it would be a similar place as it is today.
Yeah. You seem to, Olivia, have quite a strong humanitarian bent. I mean, in terms of obviously that appeal, but also the work that you do. Can you trace that? Where did that come from? Was it from your parents? Was it from school? Was it an incident? I mean, why do you like giving back so much?
I'm sick of seeing terrible things happening. I suppose there was something that clicked in me that thought, I'm sick of crying at videos that I see on Facebook, and I'm sick of turning on the news and seeing something really, really sad and just being sad about it. So I think it built up over time, and it has come from my upbringing of helping others and a lot of the school ethos that I've brought up with my education. But it is something that has been building up for a very long time, and I thought, enough's enough. I'm going to do something now.
That's fantastic. We could use more people such as yourself. Let's switch tacks and talk to me about soccer, a game that I have no skill at whatsoever. I'm a tennis player. I have no skill, like foot-eye coordination, I can't. So tell me about soccer, the love of soccer, and what you're doing with soccer.
So I love soccer, of course, and I am playing socially at the moment, but in the past few years I've played for the Brisbane Premier League and National Premier League squads, also having captained the Under-20s National Premier League squad, which is very, very cool now that I look back on it. It was a lot of pressure at the time, so I didn't feel like I enjoyed it to the fullest. But looking back, I thought, wow, it's a really big accomplishment. I'm really sort of proud of myself. We would verse teams every now and then, like North Queensland and Brisbane Raw women's side. So it was a very competitive league. However, coming into my first year of teaching, doing all of this charity-based stuff, I thought, okay, I'm going to have a break from the really competitive football and, focus on just keeping fit and enjoying my current life.
Do you miss playing the really high-level competition?
Yes, I do.
You must, right?
Sometimes when I'm playing in a lower league, and nothing wrong with playing lower league, everybody, it's totally fine, it's all about fun. But having grown up in the really competitive league, sometimes, some of the things that get let go, or, sometimes everyone's having a laugh. And sometimes I have a laugh. We do silly things and I have a laugh. But sometimes when I'm in a zone, I go, what are you laughing about? Get up, go do that.
This is the competitive side you were talking about before, wasn't it?
You should see me as a spectator.
Oh, do you yell at people, like even when you're watching on TV, that they should have done something? That's what my dad does.
I don't yell at people. I also yell instructions, and whoever listens to them, that's great. I
Do you have a loud voice?
Yes, I do. It goes a bit higher when I yell. So some people don't take it too seriously. But I was sitting on the bench at my partner's football game, and I was yelling a lot of instructions, and a lot of the bench was sort of looking at me, a bit in awe, thinking she knows what offside is. She knows what a 1-2 is. I did tell them, I played MPL last year. They didn't believe me until I told them the second or third time, and they said, "Oh, you're being serious." And I thought, yeah, I wasn't lying to you. So I feel as though when I get older and I can manage my career a lot better, coaching is definitely something I'd be interested in.
What position do you play?
Holding midfield. So a lot of people say about holding midfield that it's a lazy position because you're in midfield but you're defensive, so you don't have to do a lot of running around. But I would consider holding midfield the playmaker who does control the shape of the team, which is a very important position, I might just add. Hence
all the yelling that you do. It sounds like the two go hand in hand.
Yeah, and look, playing with girls, we are emotional beings, and I know that does seem like a bit of a gender stereotype.
Sure.
But a lot of the time, if you do yell aggressively, some people, not all, do take it a bit personally. So you do have to say it in a way that's very objective and doesn't single anyone out. So I think that as a spectator, that's how I do give instruction as well. And I think, especially if I were to coach younger ones, it's a skill that I would need.
What is it that you most love about soccer?
The team aspect of it, and look, soccer is a world sport. It's hard to find someone. I mean, you don't play soccer.
I've played it. I'm just bad at it.
Well, that's the thing. Everyone knows soccer. Everyone loves to give it a go. And having that, Sicilian background,
of course,
it is a very cultural thing, playing football. It is a very European thing, but it is branching out to the rest of the world, and it is truly becoming a world sport. So it's something that everyone can be involved in, and it's very inclusive.
Absolutely. Okay, well, Olivia, we're about to move towards the close, but just before we do, if people want to follow you with your pageant journey, I know we talked about the fundraising, and we'll put the link below, but if they want to follow your pageant journey, what's the best way to keep up with you on social media?
I have Instagram and I do have a Facebook page. Miss Global Intercontinental, a very big mouthful, National Finalist 2017, and on Instagram it's just Liv Raffaele, and I do post a lot of photos and a lot of stories and videos about my journey and being on school holidays, which for a teacher is very exciting. I'm doing a lot of stuff in the coming weeks.
Fantastic. When is the actual pageant?
The pageant is the first week of August, so it starts on the 2nd of August with an orientation and judging up until the Saturday, and the pageant will be Saturday night.
Okay, so at time of recording, you're just over a month away, maybe 5 weeks away.
Yes, so it is very, very close, but I'm still really, really
Are you the person who gets more excited, or you get more nervous? Like, what are the emotions that bubble up this close to the pageant?
I'm excited. I want to meet everybody, and I do. I just want to meet everybody, and I just want to compete. And I have all the gear ready from Galaxy. I tend to recycle a lot of stuff because what I buy I really like. So I think I'm going to wear that 1,000 times. But yeah, I do get really, really excited. The nerves, as I said before, have kind of subsided because, I have realised it's a lot more than just an external thing. So yeah, I'm just really excited to get involved, get to know everybody and genuinely have fun because, at the end of the day, if you don't leave with a crown, if you haven't had fun, you haven't had a good experience overall.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned before, probably should have talked about this before, but you wanted to sort of be not the typical, you wanted to represent, I guess, a different side to pageantry than a lot of the competitors do.
Yeah.
So if there was a girl watching, let's say, and they're looking at you and going, okay, that sounds interesting because I never thought of entering pageants, and here's someone who's done it, what would you say are the benefits that you got? Like, why would you encourage someone to go into a pageant?
This sounds cliche. I am different to how I would imagine I would be if I didn't enter pageants. I have gained a lot of public speaking skills, which are very valuable in a lot of aspects of life. And I've made a lot of friends that I still talk to this day and that I will be seeing back at the pageant, and a lot of self-confidence. Now, you do have to have a fairly good sense of self entering these things because if you go in with the mindset, I'm going to be amazingly confident when I come out of this, and you don't win, well, then it's going to have a different effect.
Sure.
But it is different for everybody, and I'm not going to say I'm going to list this, this, and this that you're going to come out with because pageantry is what you make of it. If you want to go in for a laugh or just to have fun or as a fitness motivator, that's entirely up to you. But if you want to get the most out of it, just throw yourself into it and, research it and have a lot of fun because you will be back. I said that the last one was going to be my last one.
You can't stay away.
But I can't. It's a lot of fun. And a lot of people think, oh, pageantry, it's a lot. But to me, there's a pageant season like there's a football season. And you do little things working up to the grand final. So it can be a hobby, it can be your life, it can be anything you want it to be. So it should really bring in a diverse range of young women, which at the moment it does sort of bring in a certain demographic. But I really want to reach out to those other girls who are thinking about it but sort of on edge about it. Because it is literally for everybody.
Absolutely. I think that demographic is shifting, isn't it? Maybe slowly, but it is shifting at the moment.
It is. And you saw that with Miss Canada at the Miss Universe finals. Even the current Miss USA with her natural hair, which is amazing to see. And even, I'm trying to think now, Miss Georgia USA. And, you don't have to be a perfect mould.
Yeah.
You can be any shape, size, ethnicity to be able to compete. So it is moving slowly, but it is happening, which is great.
Absolutely. Okay, well, we have 10 final questions to go through, and then we'll be done. So, good luck. There are no right or wrong answers here. You're not being given a score or anything out of it. So, first question is, what is your favourite word?
Fantastic.
That's a new one. I haven't had that one before. What is your least favourite word?
Crusty. It's not a nice word. I just don't like it. I just don't like the word.
No, that's a new one as well. The most common answer has been moist.
Moist, moist. I don't know. I think chocolate cake when I think moist.
Okay.
Do you know anything that's good that's crusty?
Krusty the Clown?
The drunk clown
Yeah.
who smokes weed on The Simpsons.
No, I completely agree. Yeah, crusty is not a nice word.
Yeah, now that you think about it, you're just like, oh, crusty is not a nice word.
Okay, we should move on because that's really not a nice word. Okay, what turns you on spiritually, intellectually, or just in general?
I think seeing passionate and driven people in the world, I think that with our generation, it's a lot of, I want things now and instant gratification, whereas it's good to see people active in the world that are thinking, really long-term goals and are really driven towards their goals. Because things are so easily accessible now that I find that a lot of people settle.
Yeah.
And I'm really finding people that are driven is really amazing.
And what about what turns you off?
What turns me off? What turns me off? Being, that humanitarian side of me, I think what turns me off is the use of hashtagging to promote a certain humanitarian cause, like something bad happening, hashtag London, hashtag pray for London, instead of action.
Yeah.
Less talk, more action.
Absolutely.
Just talk turns me off. Just talk.
All right, absolutely. Okay, what sound or noise do you love?
Probably the piano.
Oh.
I love the sound of the piano.
Do you play?
I play a little bit. I don't have a piano here. It is something that I kept there and it's very out of tune, but the sound of a piano is beautiful.
Okay. Well, what sound or noise do you hate?
Construction.
It's funny to me how people seem to be able to answer that question a lot more quickly. Okay, well, the next question comes from an actual pageant competitor. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, I did actually get this at a pageant once before, and it was a very bad answer, mind you. But if I had a superpower, it would be to be able to sprinkle perspective and understanding on everybody, so that I think people would understand a lot of people's struggles in life. And I think that if everyone in the world gained a bit of perspective on someone else's views, that the world would be a much more peaceful place.
That is a very, very deep answer. I like that answer. I don't know if it would make a very exciting superhero movie, but it's a very deep answer.
Perspective, Olivia flies through the air, sprinkling perspective dust.
Maybe put some special effects or something. Okay, what about question 8? We got 3 more. What job or profession, other than your own, would you most like to attempt?
Well, I would love to be an actress. A very cookie cutter young girl. I want to be an actress or a singer when I grow up, but I'm very theatrical sometimes, and I can put myself into other characters very easily. So I think acting would be something that I would love to do.
Okay. What about what job or profession other than your own would you not like to attempt?
Oh, what would I not want to attempt ever? Oh, you know what? I have done it, and it's retail, because just sometimes I feel like when you turn into a customer, occasionally common sense flies out the window. So as a retailer, you cop a lot of complaints, a lot of things that just are not very nice, and you think, step into my shoes sometimes. Is this very rational what you're asking of me right now, sort of thing?
Well,
retail is something I would not want to step back into. That's for sure.
Well, that's why you need your superpower, so you can sprinkle perspective on these crazy customers. Okay, final question. If God exists, what would you like to hear him or her say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
What would I want him or her to say? I would want him or her to tell me what's going to happen with the world, I think, and what's going to happen with me afterwards. Because I do often ponder, and I think a lot of other people ponder life after death, and you think, is there nothing? Is there something? If it's an eternity of heaven, well, an eternity is a very long time.
Yes, it is.
Eternity is forever. So I would want a lot of questions answered, and I'm sure if he answered everyone's question when we got up there, then there'd be a very long line of souls. So I think just the future of my spirit and the future of the world would be something that I just want a quick, what's going to happen? What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to them? That's all I want to know.
Sounds like a good answer to me. Okay, well, Olivia, thank you so much for your time, and I want to thank everyone for watching, and good luck with the pageant and everything else moving forwards, and I will speak to everyone next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.